100.
Good morning, guys. I am Joke.
And I'm Nightingale, but are you sure we have sound on?
Yes, we do have sound on.
Okay, great. Then,
All right.
then we
So,
can start.
all right. So, welcome to Yak Talk, episode 6.
Are you sure? Okay, episode 6. And yeah, so we don't have that many news today
But we have big
because,
news.
yeah, well, yeah, we have big news. Uh, they Our last talk was only last week, so there is not that much that happened, but we still have a few interesting ones, and we will start with the slightly less important ones, but not for all of us. For example, Strudel won PlayFaeria Open, and FixZ got second one, which happened basically 1 hour before the recording for this happened.
Congratulations to you guys.
Yes, and so this was the fourth PlayFaeria Open, and we have yeah, next month we will be having also PlayFaeria Opens. We do not yet know what will be the format, but we are promised that it will be a new format, so it's something to expect on. If anybody is interested, it's Sunday, and European CET, it's around 6 or 7 o'clock, if I remember correctly, that it starts. More info will be coming on the next week.
Yeah, you can
But
just
that
go
is,
to open.playfaeria.com.
yeah, Sunday. But that's not the only tournament that's going to happen next week. And we are going to have two other ones. The biggest one is the Faeria Cup, which is gonna happen on Saturday but only for the people who qualified. Everybody else will have to be content with watching it.
Unless you're invited. You can also
Uh,
be invited.
yeah, or you can cast it. That's also something you can
Yeah.
enjoy doing. Yeah, this will be a cash tournament, but that's also not the only one. There is going to be one more tournament on Sunday, and
It's
it
going to
will
be,
be, yeah,
the Team Elements Cup. We will, my team will host a cash tournament, $150. And some other good prizes. So make sure to sign up for that. More information will most likely be provided tomorrow, so keep an eye out.
yeah. But returning slightly back for the monthly cup, yesterday we had a second qualifier tournament, which, if I remember correctly, you were casting, right?
Yeah, I was casting it together with Shotgun. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of technical difficulties, unfortunately, but in the end we had a fun, and the games were really good.
Yeah. So so first of all, the victors for that tournament were Mayhem, Paperino, Donkey74, Bolivar. We haven't seen him for a bit, but he's back. And Stek, Belbin, Strudel. Oh, second time we see him. Him on the winners, and Frodaddy.
Yeah.
Congratulations for them, and we will see them next week. Anyways, a bit more about the qualifier.
Yeah, so I was casting the qualifiers together with Shotgun, and for everyone who knows Shotgun, they probably know that he's against long turn timers. And I've been asking for them for half a year now. And during this tournament, we saw it over and over that people struggled to make their turns in time. So maybe, hopefully we can see a change to that sometime
Yeah,
soon.
I kind of agree with that. Not longer turn timers, but change, because I also lost today because of the turn timer. It was too short, and I do consider myself a fast player, so. And I'm not bitter or anything. It's
Right.
yeah. But anyways, I do hope that there will be some alternative system implemented. The one I would love to see is something like a time bank, meaning that we will have slower, like less basic time instead of 90 seconds that we have now, something like 30 to 60, and a time bank, so when your main time ends, you will have exhaustible supply of extra time, like 2 minutes or something like that,
I
or
would
5 minutes.
I would really like that because I mean many of your turns are real quick and you don't
Yeah.
really need to spend so much time on them. But sometimes, like just having 5 extra seconds or 20 extra seconds would make a big difference when you are in those complex situations.
Yeah, but again, this is only our opinion. But if you do think that it would be good, you can spam a bit in feedback on the spot.
Yes, go do that.
So, what about the metagame on the qualifier?
We saw a lot of yellow control, red control, a little bit of red aggro, yellow rush. I don't think we saw a single wish deck, not that we casted at least.
Okay, well, they are kind of hard to do in Pantheon format. Do you think
Right, yeah.
the funny thing is that yellow? I did not see that much yellow control on that ladder. I think there was a bit more aggressive ladder thing, like yellow rush and red rush are more popular on ladder. I think that is. I do believe that is mainly because of the Pantheon format changes how you perspective.
Yeah, you usually, or at least so far, what we have seen is that people play 2 monocolor decks and then 1 multicolor. So it was oftentimes red and yellow, and then an apex.
Okay,
I mean, that's what we've seen a lot, and
so same
that's
thing that Helios popularized on the first PlayFaeria Cup.
yeah,
Yeah, basically it seems like the best setup. And usually, from my experience in Pantheon format, you want to have control deck as your first. There are exceptions, but that might also lead to the fact that you did not see as many rushes on stream.
yeah.
But yeah, that's metagame is basically same as it was last week, so nothing much changed. But the one big change that happened, we had some issues. I think the server was taking a bit longer to update, but we have a new Pandora.
A brand new Pandora, grand reopening.
Yes.
So what's the new thing in this Pandora for people who don't know?
Basically, the new thing is that you do not no longer have Pandora shards. Actually, okay, you do have 5 Pandora shards, but they are vanilla. That's my main complaint about it, but we can talk about it later. You have like in the last Pandora, you have 5 shards, but that are drawn randomly, but they do nothing. The interesting thing happens when the 5 shards are drawn. The wells deplete like it was previously, and you get 6 Faeria a turn. But in addition to that, you get a treasure card. Treasure cards are cards you draft during the draft process. I think it's the 10th pick, after 10th pick, after 20th pick, and after 30th pick, you get to pick one of the 3 treasures. And after Pandora opens, you get one of them, and then 2 Pandora opens cards are shoveled into your decks. And after you draw a Pandora opens card, both players draw a treasure card from the ones they have drafted. So if the game goes on long enough, you will get all the 3 treasures you have drafted. But if the game does not go long, you might not actually see any difference if the Pandora doesn't open. So it's perfectly normal draft and perfectly normal games before the Pandora opens.
Yeah, and that is something that people have been asking for. So I think a lot of people is gonna really enjoy this new Pandora because the game is not so crazy in the beginning, and I mean when you do get the treasures, it can get quite wild because the treasures are truly powerful cards, at least many of them.
Yeah, the effects are something that either has not been done on the normal cards or just wildly efficient. So, for example, there is a 10 Feria card Ocarina which gives you an extra turn. That's one of my favorite cards. Probably not the best, but still.
Yeah, and since you can only get these when Pandora is open, basically you will just get 6 Feria back. So you only really pay 4. I mean, you pay 10. You need to have 10 to play it, but you get 6 back right after you play it.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty strong card. But there are some other crazy cards, like transform a creature to a 10/10 for 2 Faeria. Does that sound pretty good?
Yeah, that's kind of brokenish.
It does have the prerequisite that you need to attack a god with the creature that turn. Otherwise, you cannot play it.
Yeah, that might be an issue if it were another. My second favorite treasure is Jubilant Macbee, which is 3 Faeria, 1/5 flying haste, and when it hits opponent, you get a treasure, a random treasure.
And there are 30 different treasures. And actually, PlayFaeria.com just posted an article where you can see all of them. So go check that out.
Yeah, I actually I like this Pandora much more than the previous one, though I do still have some complaints. My main complaint is that the Pandora shards are kind of feel like they are useless. It just I would have preferred if it wasn't random, but there was some counter to say when Pandora opens. That depends on what people do. But
Yeah, that would be fun, I think. It would
But
take
yeah.
away a little bit of the crazy feeling, which I think would be maybe
Yeah,
be good.
yeah, it's part of the Pandora, but even the crazy feeling wears off at some point if you play a bit more of it,
Yeah.
which is. So, have you played the Pandora much?
I've played it a little bit, and I must say that, I mean, when I read the changes, I was super excited. When I saw the treasures, I was super worried. I was like, what? I mean, some of them just look really incredibly powerful, and it feels a little bit like, okay, whoever drafts that treasure is gonna win. But after playing, I don't know if that's really the case. The thing is, you will get your first treasure after you pick 10 cards, so you can try to kind of build synergy around the treasures. There are some cards in particular. I wanna read the text on the Aurora's Teapot. So there is one treasure that costs 5 Faeria, and it says, change the base attack and life of all friendly creatures to 6/6. So if I get this on like as my first treasure card, for sure I'm gonna start picking cheap cards, just try to have them stay alive on the board, and then press out this treasure to make them all insanely big.
And you're not bitter at all for losing a few games to that card, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. I've lost against this card more than I care to admit. So let's move on. No, but
Yeah.
I feel like this is a healthy change, because the previous artifacts could be really frustrating. Although I think towards the end of the last Pandora version, it wasn't so bad, because they got rid of all the truly annoying ones,
Yeah.
except for the drum. The drum was also still kind of annoying, because I couldn't use my Falcon dives and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm looking forward to play some more Pandora and try this out.
Yeah, same here. It's a really interesting change, and I also did not have much against the treasures that were left, like the Pandora shards that were left in, but it was still kind of random games. Though what I'm worried about is that right now the games might people just stall until they get the treasures. Like you would have given up on the game otherwise, but now you have a chance of drawing the ridiculous treasures, and you just stall the game instead of doing something relevant.
That is though something that I think was one of their design goals. They want the games to be explosive and have like comeback feelings.
Well, comeback is one thing. Building your strategy around stalling to get the treasure feels kind of wrong. Okay, I'm probably slightly bitter about from the last game of Pandora, where it was a race. It was a perfectly good game. Like it was a tight. We both killed stuff. Both got some advantage, we started at one point. I had a creature in his space. He had in mine. I think he had some combat tricks, and so did I, some taunts. and other creatures, but it was basically a race.
Yep.
And it was like 2 turns, and depends on, we had like, to play it out. But Pandora opened, and he just got a treasure to kill me off with the +4/+4 flying charge.
Yeah. I mean, those things are of course frustrating, but
Yeah, like
I mean,
that's one of my complaints about Pandora, but still I do like it much more than the previous one, and it has craziness, it's fun, and if the game starts fast, you don't even see the effect of the treasures.
yeah, I would like if Pandora opened a bit later, like on average, like 5-6 turns later, because then most games would probably already be over before. But that also
Yeah,
kind of defeats the purpose. But I'm a fan of longer games.
yeah, they did say it was sudden death mode, so to me it seems like uh, it might change or it might not change depending on the length of the games, but
I guess
the
they will.
5-6 turns is a bit much, and I do not see that happening.
Yeah, but I mean, we'll see. People will try it out now and give some feedback. Let's hope for that. There is
Yeah,
one card in particular that I managed to get in my draft, which was incredibly powerful, and it felt like I could come back from really horrible positions. So this is probably one of the strongest, or at least in my opinion, treasures. It's called Dark Crystal. It costs 7 Faeria. It reads like this. Drain 4 life from your opponent. So you deal 4 damage to face and you heal yourself for 4. You also deal 3 damage to all enemy creatures and draw 2 cards.
yeah, like I don't think I will ever remember the name of this card because it's so similar to Magic card Cruel Ultimatum that I will always be calling this Ultimatum.
It's just a really powerful card, and since it costs 7, you will always be able to play it since you're getting 6 per turn. So you can just +1 and play this. It's really strong.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. Like it's strong. It's strongest of the ones. I think it's one of the strongest treasures as well.
There's been a
And
lot of talk on Reddit about one card in particular. Now we're talking about strong cards. It's a Hammer of Aorus. What do you think about it?
I
Let's first say what it
yeah,
does. So it's a 3 cost card, and it says deal 3 damage, and at the end of your turn, you return the card to your hand. So you can play it once per turn, basically for 3 Faeria, and you can also attack your enemy god with it.
yeah. So basically, you get for every sphere spent, you get 1 damage. It's kind of like Fireball that it does not exist in Faeria. And I have not read that much on Reddit of people hating on this card, but I do not think it is broken because through there, like Dark Crystal Ultimatum is strictly a stronger card since you do not need infinite damage, you just need enough,
Yeah.
and some of these treasures provide a much bigger effect on the field than this one. So while the card itself is probably not probably, it's really strong. Not saying anything against that. It's broken, but other treasures are also broken compared to the normal cards. That's the whole intention behind them. So it's not like you cannot do anything about it. You just have to have a better deck.
Yeah, I
And
mean, the treasures are they're really wild, they're really crazy, but oftentimes the game. I mean, if you are well ahead and Pandora opens, you're still gonna have a good chance of winning the game. It's not like it will completely screw you over too many times, at least.
yeah, that's also true. It's like
Except Aurora's teapot.
I did have a few games where it did, but it's still like you said, if you're really ahead, then you can actually play around most of these. And well, yeah, there are Black Rose 9 Faeria gain control of an enemy creature, which felt actually weaker than it should have, but still. So, anyways, guys, play Pandora and write your feedback. And overall, just write your feedback. Developers are listening, they are improving, they do have their own goals, so not all things are possible. For example, I really want tutors in this game, proper tutors, but I do not think I will be getting them. But still, write your feedback, and if you are dissatisfied with something,
You're
the
saying,
game is improving.
yeah, you're saying you want tutors in this game. Can you explain what you mean with that?
I mean, cards that search your deck for other cards. Like
That was not at all self-explanatory, by the way.
yes. So, for example, if there was a creature that, as a gift effect, would let you search your card for an event that costs 1 or less. So you would get to watch through your deck and see what events you have with cost 1 or less, and get one of them into your hand. I know it's not explanatory, but yeah, something like that.
It sounds like an incredibly fun card. Sounds like one of those planeswalkers in Magic the Gathering.
No, they have planeswalkers have multiple effects. Like you have,
Yeah, no,
you
but
can do it multiple times, but it's
Yeah.
slightly different. And there are tutors in many games. It's just that Hearthstone did not do it, and there are some limitations on doing it. I still like the effect, so I do hope there will be something.
Yeah, it makes for very interesting deck building and like combo decks.
Yeah, more Highlander type decks like from Hearthstone. There is Reno Jackson. Imagine a Reno Jackson deck which had actual tutors. So all those one-offs, you could search from one card to search for them. So
Yeah.
you could always have some
Really
proper
good
solutions
answers.
to the situation.
Yeah, sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, I think we got slightly off topic from the normal Yak Talk, but that's mainly because we did not have that many news. The Pandora opening was the only big reopening was the only big news, and a few smaller ones. So I do think we will be finishing this up.
Yeah, just as a reminder, don't forget to complain about the turn timer. Help me out. All right. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and thank you Nightingale.
Yeah, thank you, Joke.
You're very welcome, and
And
see you next time.
Yeah, see you. Bye.
Bye bye.